The ETHNA System, Ethical Governance for Scientific Excellence. The EU-funded project ETHNA System is developing and implementing a flexible ethical governance system for the management of responsible research and innovation, or RRI for short. 6 European institutions working in higher education, research funding, innovation ecosystems and research centres participated in the piloting of the ETHNA system across Europe. Their unique experiences provide a critical basis for the evaluation, validation and revision of the final version of the ETHNA system.
I think that ETHNA System wants to provide instruments and tools and a clear guides and handbook to trainers inside the organization that can be used to move the culture through an ethical governance in our ecosystem in research and innovation in Europe. We need methodologies that will be enough participative and key experts that can provide the method to move the idea of the ethics to the practice, and also to contextualize the construction.
We started asking this in our university. I mean, why is it necessary? What are your concerns about this? And the answers were very diverse. And we had some skepticals that thought that it was not necessary. Actually, I remember in the survey we got one answer saying, please make sure that this is not going to work. So please make sure that no new ethical tools will be developed. And there was one sentence very concrete in the survey. But there were many other researchers saying, oh yes, we really need to create this discussion and to see what are the minimums or what are the goals we need to reach, not only from a legal point of view, but from an ethical point of view.
I've been part of the ETHNA system, but in different moments, because at the same time that while we are implementing ETHNA system at the university, we are also implementing some changes on ethics. One of the most important things is that we have the time to talk with different levels inside the university and ask them, okay, what do you think about ethics and what do you think you need? How can we help you? The most evidence result was the code of ethics, the best practice and the PhD, and also the renewal of the committees. That means a lot of internal work, because you have to think the kind of committee that do you need, because it's not the same. We in our institution, we do a lot of research in social areas, in psychology, humanities. So we create these 3 committees, and also the procedures for them, internal, how to work, how to make the decisions, what are the obligations of the members and the rights, and how we are going to process all this. And also for the researchers, we are creating like a templates to help them. If you want to do a focus group, for example, what do you need to explain to the participants? How do you need to do it in a proper way, like with a consent forum? What information is crucial if you are working with third parties, for example, or in a war zone?
Initially, the ETHNA project was interesting because it seemed to integrate different concerns when it came to ETHNA governance at the university. We were keen to see the potential for this because there's a lot of ethics awareness in the Norwegian society and at the Norwegian universities. What has happened in the ETHNA project period for us is not so much that we have done something new, but that we have reflected on the things that we already did. And the vastness of the work on ethics already going on is quite striking. Doesn't mean that there's no room for improvement. In our case, in the Norwegian context, the ETHNA system doesn't seem flexible enough. The ETHNA system is set up to provide an ethics system where some of the keys that are addressed by ETHNA are not in place or not sufficiently in place. And then I think it can be very fruitful in the Norwegian context. These structures are in place, and then this seems doubled up or redundant.
Especially in the recent, maybe 6 years, we worked in different projects which are focused on RRI, Responsible Research and Innovation, which is also pretty much the focus of ETHNA System projects. We are dealing a lot on projects which try to encourage citizenship participation in different political areas and fields, so participatory democracy. We are trying to build bridges between three segments: the society, the ordinary citizens, the science, and the policymakers. So being one of the few institutes or organizations in Bulgaria dealing with this topic, we are kind of a pioneer or front runner in trying to promote the principles of responsible research and innovation in the scientific community in Bulgaria. But we never had a, let's say, comprehensive approach to the framework as such. And ETHNA System provided just that very clear and practical toolbox for implementing and designing a comprehensive structure for responsible research governance within organizations such as ours. The legacy of ETHNA System project for ARC Fund and the, let's say, the institutional change which ETHNA System has started in ARC Fund are 4 documents which we are going to finalize before the end of the project: the Code of Ethics and Good Research Practices, Gender Equality Plan, Open Access Policy, and the Public Engagement Policy. And in addition, we are going to establish the position of RRI officer within the organization. And also we are going to have a 3-member research ethics board, something which was an idea to have for a long time, but until ETHNA System came along, we didn't really make the necessary steps in this direction.
And at the moment, we deal with everything which concerns education and youth activities. It's testing, it is funding, supporting, consulting, and also this includes international cooperation also. But ETHNA project ideas talking about soft values was just in the right time. this idea was supported by the top management, also by expert groups, and also by employers. And this gave me some kind of support and enthusiasm from the beginning. You see, ETHNA system is for us rather unique because there's not much research funding or education funding organization who have this type of clear rules. And this is very important because taking the example of Estonia, our biggest research funding organization is Estonian Research Council. But at the moment, thanks to ETHNA System project, we create our rules, ethical rules before them. Yes, for competition, and it's rather good example. Projects that they start, they end, and there's no sustainability. But at the moment, we have now ETHNA system agreements, but we can monitor them because it is also obligation being member of Estonian Code of Conduct. About implementation in our organization, for example, this is important that at the moment we have RRI officer. We implemented gender equality plan. We implemented diversity plan. We joined the Estonian Code of Conduct for research integrity and prepared harness set of good practice rules and guidelines. And all this information is also available, opened in our website.
My institute has a particularity, which is we don't have employers. We are all researchers that are employers from another employees. Another particularity is that most of these researchers, they are also involved in national and international projects that already have ethical norms that we have to follow. We have this particularity, which we have already some kind of awareness with the ethical responsibilities, but at the same time, we don't have a formalized or an established model for all the researchers. So this is why and how we appear in ETHNA and how ETHNA itself helped us to formalize these models. So mainly what we did was try to find out some commonalities between all of those RRI spaces, as we called, that already are there in our ecosystem regarding the different spaces from the different researchers. So we prepared the Code of Ethics and Good Practices, taking into consideration the block of the research integrity, gender issue, the block of the public engagement, and also the open access. So we have here all the dimensions addressed. So that one was the block that we put more effort, and that is in fact the main result of our implementation.
Well, it was for us a very interesting challenge because our environment, that is an innovation environment, is not very close to the ETHNA system. So probably could be a very interesting way to incorporate the ETHNA system methodologies to our ecosystem of innovation. I mean, at the beginning, we had to think about how to incorporate ETHNA system in our company, is an institution. And this is why we decided to use the genre aspect, because we are already preparing what we call the genre plan in order to analyze how the women and men are working at the company. But mainly we were thinking about how to extend that to our ecosystem, not only for our company, because we are just a small team. In our team, 90% are women. There is no discussion about that, but we think that in the innovation and technology companies, the situation is in the other way around. It's a way to incorporate this sort of, let's say, perspective inside of the business models of different companies in their own business models and in their own value chains of their processes. And this is why we thought that could be a good complement to first of all, to understand it. Second, trying to connect it with the environment that we are managing, and then trying to show the advantages of using an ethics code inside of the strategy for business strategy of each company. And we thought that could be a very good complement for them. This is why we are more interested in how to show that not only to our ecosystem, but also in Spain, we are 60 science and technology parks with more than 8,000 companies. So we would like to act as a reference case, a business case, in order to show others how ETHNA System has provided some added value to a science and technology park and their ecosystems, in order to foster them to think about whenever the ETHNA System project will finish, but at least there will be some deliverables that you can use it for your own.
Well, my impression is that the 6 implementers have gained a lot in their organizations. They have chosen the level of the system, of ETHNA System, that they consider that they can achieve in the time that we have in the project. And my impression is that there are more results that at the beginning we expected from our implementations processes.
The diversity of organisations that implemented the ETHNA system, the different approaches they undertook, and the wide range of outcomes they have achieved help shed light on the viability and sustainability of the ETHNA system. The ETHNA system. Ethical governance for scientific excellence.